Where the Tide Meets Us. Chapter 1. The break she didn't know she needed. The Bahamas air wrapped around Lilly Hart like a warm embrace the moment she stepped off the ferry. Sunlight shimmered across the turquoise water, and the scent of salt and ripe fruit drifted through the breeze. It was the kind of place where people came to forget their lives for a while. She needed that more than she wanted to admit. Her suitcase rattled behind her as she walked down the dock, her curls sticking to her forehead in the heat. She'd turned her phone off the moment she boarded the ferry, and for the first time in years, she felt the faintest whisper of freedom. Lily didn't realize how tightly she'd been holding herself together until she reached the hotel. The lobby was cool and bright, all white stone and soft island music, but she barely took it in. She checked in with the kind of automatic politeness that came from years of professional habit, then took the elevator up to the third floor. The moment she stepped into her room, she let out a breath she hadn't known she was holding. She dropped her bag just inside the door. It landed with a soft thud, half unzipped from her rummaging on the ferry. She towed off her sandals, patted across the tile floor, and pushed open the balcony doors. Warm air rushed in, carrying the scent of the ocean and distant grilling spices. Below, the water glimmered like a sheet of glass. For a moment, she just stood there, palms on the railing, letting the sun soak into her skin. She'd come here to escape, to breathe, to remember who she was outside of the courtroom and the constant pressure. But the stillness didn't last long. Restlessness crept in, subtle at first, then insistent. Sitting still felt too much like the life she'd left behind, trapped in her own head. Out here, everything was alive, moving, calling to her. Before she could overthink it, she slipped her sandals back on, grabbed her room key, and headed out. The late afternoon sun had softened slightly as she stepped onto the street. She wandered without a plan, letting instinct guide her through narrow roads lined with pastel buildings. Vendors called out lazily from shaded stalls, selling conch shells and woven bracelets. Music drifted from somewhere unseen, blending with the rhythm of the waves not far away. Her hotel was only a few blocks behind her, but she kept going, drawn deeper into the slow pulse of the island. That's when she saw it, a small wooden bar with a faded blue door, tucked between two brighter storefronts. It looked like the kind of place where time slowed down. She hesitated for only a second before stepping inside. The bar was dim and cool, with wooden beams overhead and the soft hum of a ceiling fan turning lazily. A few tourists lounged at tables, but the bartender's back was turned as he wiped down glasses. "Hi," she said, sliding onto a stool. The bartender turned. Lily froze. He froze too. "Lily?" he said, voice low, disbelieving. Her heart stuttered. "Ronan?" She didn't expect him. Ronan Hayes. It had been years ago, long before she'd become the version of herself who lived on caffeine and case files. She'd been in law school then, studying abroad for a summer program in Dublin. One rainy afternoon, she ducked into a tiny bookstore cafe to escape a sudden downpour. Ronan had been behind the counter, sleeves rolled up, curls damp from the same storm. He'd handed her a steaming mug of tea with a crooked smile and said, "Rough day." She'd laughed, really laughed, and something in her had loosened. For 3 weeks, they'd been inseparable, wandering the city, sharing pastries, talking about everything and nothing. It had been easy in a way life rarely was. But when summer ended, she returned to the States, and he stayed in Ireland. They'd promised to keep in touch, but life had a way of swallowing good intentions. She hadn't seen him since, until today. But maybe, just maybe, some parts of her past weren't done with her yet. He laughed warmly, surprised, and familiarly. "I'll be damned. What are you doing here?" "I could ask you the same thing." He leaned on the counter, arms crossed, eyes bright. "I work here." "You, a bartender?" "Temporary," he said. "Long story." "I have time," he grinned. "Then you're getting the good rum." And just like that, the world shifted.